Hi everyone. So today's lecture we are going to learn about the topic Coulomb's law. So let's start. So we are going to understand the topic what is friction. Friction is a force that opposes the motion of an object when it's come into the contact with another surface. It acts in the opposite direction of movement and is caused by the microscopic roughness of surfaces. And there are types of friction. First type is static friction. What is meant by static friction? Prevents an object from starting to move. It's called as static friction. So second is kinetic friction. Acts when an object is already moving. It's called as kinetic friction. And another is rolling friction. Occurs when an object rolls over a surface. Then next one is fluid friction. Resistance from a liquid or gas like air or water. So there are a few examples of frictions like walking, brakes in vehicles, writing with a pencil, sliding a box. That's are the example of frictions. So we are moving to the next point, Coulomb's law of friction, in which we have 4 points of Coulomb's law of friction. There is a introduction. Second, friction law force is directly proportional to the normal force. And third one is independent of contact area. And fourth one is independent of sliding speed. So next one is we are starting with introduction. Coulomb's law of friction was introduced by Charles Augustin de Coulomb, a French physicist in the late 18th century. Then we are heading to the next point. Friction force is directly proportional to the normal force, in which the force of friction F is directly proportional to the normal reaction force N. Mathematically, F is equals to mu n, where mu is the coefficient of friction and n is the force perpendicular to the surface in contact. Then second one is independent of contact area. Coulomb found that the frictional force does not depend on the surface area of contact, whether the object is wide or narrow. The friction remains the same as long as the normal force and material are changed. Second one, independent of sliding speed. The law also states that the frictional force is nearly constant regardless of the speed of sliding as long as it with normal operating condition, not too high or not too low speed. That's the 4 points of Coulomb's law of friction. So next move to the next point. There is types of frictional forces. उसमें है 4 forces. फर्स्ट वाला है static friction. Static friction, static friction, the force that prevents an object from starting to move when a force is applied. Example, a heavy box on the floor that doesn't move even when we push lightly. Second one is kinetic sliding friction. Definition, the force that opposes the motion of an object that is already sliding over a surface. Like example, a book sliding across a table slow down due to the kinetic friction. Third one is rolling friction. Definition, the force that resists the motion of a rolling object on a surface less than sliding friction. Example, a ball or a car tire rolling on the ground. Third one is fluid friction or a drag. Definition, the force that opposes the motion of an object moving through a fluid, liquid or gas. Example, air resistant on moving car or water resistant on a swimmer. This is our 4 types of friction.
So let's move to the next point, mathematical formulas. So as you can see here guys, we have formulas for static friction and kinetic friction, and in which where F is is known as frictional force, and mu is known as coefficient of friction, and n is called as normal force. So if we'll talk about static friction, Fs is equal to or smaller than mu Sn, and static friction adjusts up to a maximum limit of resist motion, and Fs max is equal to mu Sn is the maximum value before the object starts moving. Now let's move to the kinetic friction, in which Fk is equal to mu kn, in which once the object is sliding, kinetic friction becomes constant, and it is always less than or equal to static friction.
So now we are moving to the next point is graphical representation. Here you can see static friction rises to max and then kinetic friction remains constant during the slide. So our next point is factor affecting on friction. First one is surface roughness, second one is normal force, third one is lubricants, fourth one is nature of contact. So we can see application of Coulomb's law. First one is vehicle braking, second one is walking and driving, third one is industrial machinery, fourth one is engineering design. So we are learn that what is friction and Coulomb's law. So thank you for watching our video.